In this work, we examine the possibilities of mobile fintech and mobile banking applications and its role in serving Black communities amid legacies of structural racial inequalities. Through this, we offer grounded truth considerations for the continued design of financial technology that could have equitable impacts amongst historically marginalized communities.